Hello there. I know it's been long overdue since I've been wanting to come your way with certain pertinent issues and topics that will empower you and encourage you to become a better person in this life and a better child of God. Today, I want to talk about the topic of marriage. Over the years, we have heard from so many quarters. We've heard from men of God, from religious leaders, we've heard from our parents and elders about what we need to do for our marriages to work before you go into marriage and whilst you're in the marriage and all that. But over the years, however, I have also come to certain realizations based on experience and based on observing marriages, asking questions, talking to people who have been in marriages for years and all that. And I have come to realize certain simple and basic principles that will make your marriage to work. Over the years, we have been told that before you even get into marriage, you have to pray, you have to fast, you have to seek the face of the Lord about the person you're going to marry and all that. But I have come to realize that marriage, for your marriage to work, is not necessarily by your religious affiliation. It's not about whether you are a prayerful person or whether you are a prayer warrior, you're a committed Christian, a pastor, an imam, a Hindu, or whatever. I've come to realize that it's got nothing to do with that in a way. It's got very little to do with that because you can't tell me that you don't see Muslims whose marriages are working, and you can't tell me that you don't see pastors who are getting divorced. So if marriage is about prayer, the pastor is expected to be more spiritual and more holier and more prayerful than you, the ordinary Christian. So why is the pastor getting divorced? And the topic of divorce is a controversial one. We'll talk about it another time. But you see people who do not believe in God. You see people we call heathens whose marriages are working. They've been in marriages for many years and they are enjoying their marriages. They have their kids have grown and they've gone out of home and they are still together, and yet they're not Christians, they are not Hindus, they're not Muslims. And you've seen Christians whose marriages did not even last 2 years, and they were prayer warriors. They saw altar sacrifices and all that. And you've seen Muslims whose marriages are working, and some of them are even married to 2, 3, 4, and they're still together in a way, though there might be conflicts, but that is not a topic for today. And so what is the solution and what makes marriage to work? What will cause the two of you or the two parties to stay together or live together ever after? I have come to realize that there is just one simple thing. It's just one simple thing, and is the principle of the will power. I believe you have heard the phrase, where there's a will, there is a way. And many years ago, I heard this phrase that if you want to do it, you make a way. But if you don't want to do it, you give excuses. It means that once you have the willingness to make something work, you make it work. It doesn't matter the time, the day, the hour. It doesn't matter the location. If you want to make it work, you will make it work. There are people who pass through the Mediterranean. There are people who pass through the Red Sea and they pass through the desert and all that because they want to get abroad. They want to get to abroad. But if you don't have the willingness, it's not going to work. The same way in marriage, for marriage to work, it takes the willingness of the two parties to make it work. It's as simple as that. Without the willingness of both parties to make it work, it's not going to work. It doesn't matter whether it's a Muslim marriage, it's a Christian marriage, it's a Hindu marriage, it's a heathen marriage, it's a celebrity marriage. As long as there's no willingness from both parties to make it work, it's not going to work. You can be as prayerful as Jesus Christ himself, but if you don't have the willingness to make the marriage work, your marriage is not going to work. Because once you have the willingness to make it work, then it's easy for you to forgive. Once there's a willingness to make it work, then it's easier for you to come up with constructive criticisms in a marriage and not necessarily take offense. Once there's a willingness to make it work, you come up with ideas and you come up with new things to make the marriage more exciting and more happier. Once you have the willingness, you don't easily take offense. There is a saying that when someone dislikes you, anything and everything you do becomes annoying to the person. When someone loves you, everything is beautiful. That's why there is a saying that love is blind. Because once you love somebody or once somebody loves you, anything you do is beautiful. Anything you do is awesome. Anything you do is nice. The same way, if there is a willingness to make it work, that you not easily take offense with the person's actions. You not easily take offense with the things the person says. So what you need from both parties is the willingness to make the marriage work. Not from one party, because you cannot drive a car successfully where two tires are inflated and the others are deflated. No, it takes the willingness of both parties. The man and the woman must commit to make it work. And once that willingness is there, nothing can conquer you. Nothing can destroy that marriage. Nothing can destroy that union. Let me give you an example. Our forefathers, our grandparents, some way, somehow, did not, in quote, know what this thing called love was in a way. Because most of our grandparents were married to and were married for. Most of our grandmothers did not even know whom they were going to get married to. They just woke up one day and they said, you're going to be with this person. This person is going to be your husband. You're going to marry from this home. They did not have time to date and to have courtship and all that. Families sat down and they decided who you were going to get married to. You had no say and you had no choice. But these people who did not know each other before they came together, these people who were married for, the decision was taken for them and not by them. A lot of these people stayed together in the marriage. They lived together in the marriage for decades. And some, if not most of them, lived until death did them part. A lot of them did not even marry in the church. It was just traditional marriage, traditional wording. Families sat together, exchanged drinks, exchanged pleasantries, exchanged gifts, and then that was it. The marriage was done. But they lived together. So the question is, what made them live together? Even though they did not have this thing of, I love him, when I see him, there's butterflies in my stomach. No. One thing and one word: willingness. So in spite of the hardships in marriage, some of them went through abuse in the marriages. We cannot dispute that. But in spite of the abuses in the marriage, in spite of all that, they still made the marriage work. And they raised children who also gave birth to children who also gave birth to us. I saw my grandparents live together. It wasn't a very pleasant marriage, if I must say, but they were together as a couple. They saw their kids grow up, and they saw their grandchildren, and they were still committed to the marriage. So today, I just want to admonish you with this message. That between you and your partner, you must come to that point where you will agree that this marriage that we've gotten into, or this marriage that we're going to go into, or this relationship, both of us are going to try our optimum best to make it work. And nothing is going to cause us to want to fall apart. Where there is a will, there is a way. And all I'm saying to you, that behind prayer, apart from fasting, apart from sacrifices, apart from going to church, apart from being a religious person, a Christian, Muslim, or whatever, for your marriage to work, it takes one thing: the willpower, the will to make it work. And I trust God that as you do this, tomorrow I will hear your testimony that your marriage is fixed and your spouse has come together with you to build this union. I pray for you that God will grant you the wisdom needed, the grace needed to build your marriage. God will give you the understanding to build your relationship as solid as a rock, that nothing or no one can break that union. I pray for you for wisdom, for understanding, for skill, and for the knowledge needed for you to build a solid relationship with you, with yourself, with your spouse, and with your family. In Jesus Christ's name, amen and amen. God richly bless you.